For me, it's a magical story. I think I've said that to Susan before, that it's a fairy story, you know, in the best sense of the word. I mean, it's a contemporary Cinderella, if you like, you know, and it's not about getting the man in the end or the prince carrying you off. It is about realising your own potential. And to all those young girls that are out there who think the only route in life is that you've got to get married and have kids, and nothing wrong with that, but that if you don't look a certain way, if you don't sound a certain way, if you don't live a certain way, you know, I do a lot of that in my stand-up about, you know, if you're not tall, blonde, thin and gorgeous and 16, then, you know, forget it. And our society seems to be a bit obsessed with that. And for me, Susan's story and Susan emerging when she did was all about us ourselves looking and going, we're more than this. We are more than the surface. And what Susan, when she sung, touched everybody's hearts that way. And that's, for me, where the magic of the story is. I mean, anybody could go out and do a Susan Boyle night if they wanted and do Sing Along a Susan or whatever. But this is actually a theatrical representation of her life, and it's interesting. And for me, what was fascinating was Susan's life before Britain's Got Talent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that when we get to Britain's Got Talent, we then feel we're rooting for the girl that was there. Why does the sun go on shining? Why does the sea rush to shore? Because this is an ongoing story, you know, this is a story.
It's only just begun.
It's only just begun. She's, you know, Susan's going to have
another artist.
She was very good, Karen Carpenter. Lovely singer. Susan's story is very much at the beginning, you know, and so we as writers have made to go, where will we take it? And we thought, well, we'll take it to the point where she goes to America, and that wonderful scene is at the Rockefeller Center where you come out and you sing in America when your album's gone #1 and leaving it in a high. And then actually we know the rest of the story to a certain extent till now. So that seemed a great point, to leave the story and then to say, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Susan Boyle. And that, I mean, she'll walk on a stand ovation every night.
I'm really good friends with Michael Harrison. I've known Michael for years. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me why, when the idea was approached, you thought, Michael's the right guy to do it, but this woman's the right woman to do it as well. Can you just tell me why?
It was the other way around, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It was completely the other way around. It was Susan's idea. Uh-huh. But not for the musical. Susan knew it. You see, it shows how famous you are. That there were two. We'd never met, and Susan made a couple of lines in the Radio Times or something like that. Say when they were saying Demi Moore would play in the movie of her life, and Susan said something along the lines of, when they said, who would you like? And she said, there's a Scottish actress. Now, I didn't know that Susan would even know who I was, and of course,
every Scottish person knows who
Elaine
is, don't they?
No, but I would never think that, or in pantomimes, or in my stand-up, any of those sort of things. So
you'd be perfect.
Well, she did. So this was Susan's idea, and I went on the phone because I've worked with Michael Harrison. fabulous man, for many years, and we were laughing because he saw a bit in the press. He went, yes, he said, and I said, oh, it's the movie. I said, I'll never get the movie. They'll cast Michelle Pfeiffer with an Irish accent. It'll not be me. And laughed, and I said, but I'll tell you, once the movie's out, we should do the musical. There's an idea. And he laughed, put the phone down, and 10 minutes later phoned me back and went, we should do it now. I went, don't. I said, we never get the rights. It's Simon Cowell, it's Sonny, it's Susan's a megastar. They go bugger off. And that's where the story comes in. Michael then pursued it. But it's a strange connection with Michael, because Michael directed me in the Pantos here, produced, and we had co-produced things together, so that's the way it happened. But ironically, when you met Michael, he's a fabulous guy, and the right person to be doing this.
Well, the only person to be doing it really, because his expertise, I know will go well.
Mm-hmm. But you have got to have total faith, Susan, in him, haven't you? And that's good that you have that.
Well, they've got a good reputation. The reputation lies before them.
The first time I saw Susan was her audition on TV, and like the rest of the world, I made up my mind about her based on what I saw. That was a lesson. Never crossed my mind I'd end up as a manager. Well, manager, minder, father figure, cheerer-upper, part-time punchbag, take your pick. Nothing in Susan's life had prepared her for what was happening. And if I'm honest, nothing had prepared the business for it either.
I love the fact that you stood up and talked about bullying and what the effect that it had on your life, and you talk about it in your book. Mm-hmm. So it seemed that we couldn't do a musical and not touch on a bit of that and how that occurred in our life as well. And so, but what Susan was brilliant, you kept saying dramatic license, it's fine, but I was going, this isn't exactly.
You're not supposed to do exactly.
Exactly.
Then I did this.
And we've got such similar backgrounds, I realised the other day when I was looking at the living room scene, and I was thinking, God, this is your living room as well, it's Susan's living room. And other people saying that there's, and that's what the common thing is as well, that we want to reach out to the audience to say, Susan's experiences were lots of our experiences, particularly in working class Scotland. Mm-hmm. But what you also said was, I said, I'm sorry I made you cry, and she said, no, you made me laugh as well. And that was the most important. And both of us feel we want to give a good night out.
Well, you get that balance right. You get that balance right.
One thing I have to say, I think you were very brave and you succeeded to do You Have to Be There from Christina. Because I think the music from Christina is superb, and that's a big song, isn't it?
It was a big song to do, and I hope I made a good job of it. That's all I can say. But I got all out of it because it was a belter.
Uh-huh.
It
just builds, doesn't it?
I could really let myself go with it. It's very emotive as well, very highly emotive.
It's just one of those songs. I think it's one of the best musical Scottish songs ever written.
That's right.
And are you? Is what started in the next album yet, or is this taking up the time now to getting all this?
Oh well, it's still in the negotiative process. It's still in its infancy.
Yeah.